What's up, guys? Rick from DFS On Demand here with the GC Cup lineup video for the Desert Classic. Let's look back at last week real quick here. And last week was the Sony Open. Here is the lineup that we rolled out. It was Abraham Ancer, Patton Kizzire, Troy Merritt, Andrew Putnam, Justin Thomas, Kevin Tway. It finished 66. So again, in this format, it is very similar to the PGA Tour, where if you make the cut, finish in the top 70, you will gain like FedEx Cup points or GC Cup points in this case. So we got points. It was just a handful, but we made the cut. We cashed, 2 weeks in a row. So we're 2 for 2 there, but basically have just made the cut each week. Now, what stinks is like, hey, we made the cut. We would have made a charge on the weekend if this was for real, but we'll take that aside. We finished 66th here. What do I think about this lineup? I'm generally kind of okay with it looking back. I think Justin Thomas was fine, even though 40% of the field had him. I obviously wish less people did and he did better, but I think Justin Thomas was an auto play at 40% of a 144-person field. He could have easily been 60%. So if you would have told me he was 40% before the week started, I probably still would have taken him because I was feeling that good about him. Abraham Ancer, fine, kind of, put together a low score on Friday, didn't really back it up any other round after that, kind of faded a bit, just hung around the top 25 all week. Patton Kizzire, I'm really happy about 100 DraftKings points. He was under 20% owned. He finished T13. I'm very happy with that play. I thought it was fine. Whiffed on Troy Merritt, 5%. We knew he was going to be our deep flyer. He had a couple of metrics that we thought would fit the Sony Open. He was pretty brutal. Every time I pulled him up on the shot tracker, he hit a ball out of bounds, or it was bad. Misses the cut, never really gives us a sweat. Kevin Tway, on the other hand, did give us a sweat. I think he missed the cut on the number. I think -2 was the cut line. He was 1 under. Unfortunate because there was a few stretches in which he played well. There was obviously a lot of stretches he played pretty poorly. But if I could go back and do it again, I'm probably okay with Tway here. If he makes one more birdie coming in, I think he parred the easiest hole on the course on 18, which is a par 5 on Friday. He's the type of guy that I think can gear up a weekend run, but we whiffed on it. And then Andrew Putnam, I'm really happy about. Obviously, he finished second at 15% owned. He was all over our metrics last week. He showed up in putting. We thought he was really good value. I had him in a lot of lineups. I core cascaded him. So thrilled about that. So let's talk about where that puts us in the standings here. So we are squarely in the middle of this. We are average, 79th place, 9.1 points this season, 3.7 week 1, 5.4 week 2, or actually flip that other way around. But yeah, so cool. We've made the cut each of the last 2 weeks. Other than that, pretty subpar, but obviously plenty of season left, and we're doing better than half the field. For this week, the lineup that I'm going to roll out looks like this. I've spent the whole $50,000, which I don't always love to do, but small field, and I think I've differentiated in other ways. Justin Rose at 11,000. If you go watch either the DFS video, if you go watch the one and done video, I just think he is going to be really overlooked. There's a bad narrative. There's a negative narrative on Justin Rose. I don't actually see it that way. So I've opted to take him. Aaron Wise, who I think will be very popular, big birdie maker. Bo Hostler, I think will be popular, big birdie maker. Joaquin Niemann can get scorching. For only $7,600, I thought he was a pretty good fit. And then the bottom two are guys I kind of had to fill the roster out with. I ended up with a lot of Stewart, and I'll tell you why. I don't know if I talked enough about Stewart this week, because as I started making lineups, he ended up in quite a few of them. Only $6,900. I think he had an 8th place finish here last year, and he played well last week. Also, these courses, you don't necessarily need to be long. Stewart is not, but he can putt, and he can hit some approaches pretty dead. So I'm opting to go with Stewart in this spot. And as I created lineups, he ended up getting in a lot of them. And then Ryan Armour, who's played well. So this is what I'm going with. I'm not super thrilled about it, honestly. In such a weak field, I didn't love a lot of the builds that I put together. I wanted to stay away from Rom. I really loved Cantlay, but thought Rose provided a level of contrarianism, if that's a word, that I wanted to access. I just found this to be a very difficult week to handicap. Some guys we haven't even seen play yet. A lot of new names in a weak field. I thought this was a very difficult week. So I don't love this lineup, quite honestly. There was probably 10 or 12 iterations of it. But this is what I've settled on, and this is what we'll roll out, and we'll see how it goes. Let me know what you think. If we're crazy, if you like this, if what else we can do as far as reviewing this. It's a unique tournament, so I want to make sure we talk about all the sides of it. But tweet me, it's at DFS On Demand, or leave a comment below. Good luck.